For years, Ben Napier was the soul of Hometown, the towering figure with an even wider grin, the guy who seemed unbreakable to everyone watching. But then, something shifted. Out of nowhere, he wasn't showing up with the same energy. Fans started wondering, where's Ben? Why does he look so different? At first, the whispers were easy to dismiss, but they kept growing. Was he hiding a secret health crisis? Was the weight of fame cracking the life he'd built with such care? Or was there something even heavier he was shielding from the world? Now, the truth is finally out, and it's nothing like anyone imagined. Once you hear what really happened to Ben Napier, Hometown will never feel quite the same. Everyone thought Hometown was just a cozy show about sprucing up old houses. But if you squint a little, you'll see it was also the quiet backdrop where things started to unravel. To truly understand how it all fell apart, let's rewind to the roots of Hometown. When Hometown first flickered onto TV screens, no one could have predicted its massive rise. It wasn't loud or dripping with drama like other renovation shows. Instead, it was a breath of fresh air, authentic, heartfelt, and brimming with warmth. That's what hooked viewers. Set in the quaint town of Laurel, Mississippi, Hometown wasn't just about fixing up homes. It was about reviving history, cherishing memories, and giving a community its spark back. Every house they touched wasn't just remodeled, it was reborn. The chipped paint and creaky porches carried stories, and Ben and Erin Napier were the perfect narrators. What set Hometown apart wasn't just the transformations. It was how Ben and Erin made you feel like you belonged in Laurel too. Watching an episode was less like reality TV and more like dropping by to visit friends who just happened to wield hammers and paintbrushes like wizards. Their chemistry was electric. Ben's laid-back, lumberjack vibe meshed seamlessly with Erin's artistic, vibrant spirit. Together, they crafted homes that weren't just stunning but deeply personal, woven with the homeowner's own stories. Laurel itself shone as brightly as the Napiers. Unlike the hectic, drama-filled cities of other renovation shows, Laurel was serene, soulful, and steeped in history. Viewers ate it up. This wasn't about flipping houses for quick cash. It was about creating something enduring, honoring the past while embracing the future. The show's success didn't happen overnight, though. It started as a humble dream born from the Napiers' love for their hometown. They were already restoring old houses in Laurel when HGTV came calling. At first, it felt almost too perfect, a small-town couple landing a national TV deal. It seemed like a fairy tale. But it was real, and what followed changed everything. Hometown quickly built a following that wasn't just tuning in for design tips. Fans were invested in the people, the families putting down roots, the homeowners shedding joyful tears as they stepped into their transformed homes. In a world that often felt like it was speeding out of control, Hometown offered something slower, warmer, and built to last. But as the show soared, the pressures behind the scenes grew heavier. What began as a love letter to a quiet town ballooned into a television juggernaut. More filming demands, tighter schedules, higher expectations. On screen, everything looked flawless, but off camera, things weren't always so simple. And that's where Ben Napier's story took a turn no one saw coming. Everything seemed fine until a scandal blindsided fans, thrusting Ben into a spotlight he never wanted. For years, Hometown felt like a haven, good folks, simple lives, and small-town pride. So when Ben Napier's name surfaced in a massive Mississippi fraud scandal in 2022, fans were stunned. It was the last thing anyone expected. The state of Mississippi was rocked by one of the biggest welfare scandals in U.S. history. $77 million meant for the state's poorest families was diverted to wealthy insiders, pet projects, and personal favors. The mess implicated 47 defendants, including high-profile names like former NFL star Brett Favre and ex-Governor Phil Bryant. It was ugly, public, and left people feeling betrayed. One glaring example was a volleyball stadium built at the University of Southern Mississippi Favre's alma mater, where his daughter played. Text messages showed Favre pushing to keep the funding source hidden from the public. As investigators dug deeper, thousands of pages of documents and texts were made public. People pored over them, hunting for every detail, every name. And that's when Ben Napier's name popped up, setting the internet ablaze. Fans who adored Hometown were floored. Ben Napier? The big-hearted craftsman? Tied to something this shady? Social media erupted with speculation. Some fans feared the wholesome image of Ben and Erin might be a facade. But here's where the truth matters and why jumping to conclusions can be dangerous. Ben's name appeared in the scandal documents, but he wasn't accused of any wrongdoing. His connection was tangential at best. Texts mentioned him in passing, tied to community events or partnerships in Laurel, with no evidence he knew about, participated in, or profited from the fraud. It was a classic case of guilt by proximity, or rather, guilt by a stray mention. In scandals this big, any name that surfaces gets dragged through the dirt, deserved or not. And that's exactly what happened to Ben. He and Erin didn't rush to defend themselves, which spoke volumes. They didn't fuel the drama or stir the pot. They trusted the truth would shine through. And it did. As the chaos settled and facts emerged, it was clear Ben wasn't among the 47 defendants. He wasn't under investigation or even remotely involved in the fraud that shook Mississippi. For Hometown fans, those were tense weeks. In a world where every public figure seems to have a hidden flaw, the thought of Ben being caught in a scandal was jarring. But this was one of those rare cases where things weren't as bad as they seemed. Ben's reputation for kindness, integrity, and hard work held firm. If anything, the ordeal made fans even more loyal, reminding everyone that even the best people can get tangled in someone else's mess through no fault of their own. Just as the scandal faded, life threw Ben another challenge. This time, not rumors or gossip, but something deeply personal and painful. At first, it was subtle. Fans noticed Ben wasn't his usual self on Hometown. He'd sit instead of stand, or Erin would handle the heavier lifting while Ben held back more than usual. To eagle-eyed viewers who'd watched every episode, it stood out. Online forums buzzed with concern. Is Ben okay? Why is he less active? Is something wrong? Some chalked it up to exhaustion from filming. Others feared something serious. A few spun wild theories. The speculation snowballed, fueled by the show's silence. Then, the truth emerged, and it was both heartbreaking and profoundly human. Ben had been grappling with a severe shoulder injury for months. What started as a nagging ache had worsened into a bone spur grinding into his shoulder joint. He'd powered through, filming episodes and working on renovations despite the relentless pain. But ignoring it only made it worse. Picture being the guy known for building anything with his hands, then waking up unable to lift your arm. That was Ben's reality. The pain was excruciating, stealing sleep and making simple joys, like tossing his daughter Helen in the air or carrying May, impossible. For someone like Ben, it wasn't just physical. It hit him emotionally, sparking doubts. Could he still be the strong, reliable dad and husband he strived to be? Could he still be the Ben Napier fans loved? In March 2023, Ben underwent surgery to fix the damage. It wasn't an easy call. There were risks and fears. What if it failed? What if recovery dragged on? But Erin stood by him, urging him to prioritize his health. This wasn't about pride. It was about being there for his family. The surgery was grueling, repairing the rotator cuff, shaving the bone spur, and trimming damaged cartilage. Given Ben's hands-on career, the stakes were high. Recovery meant weeks in a sling and months of physical therapy to rebuild strength and mobility. There were days when progress felt stalled, moments of frustration when all Ben wanted was to swing a hammer again. But something remarkable happened. Fans who'd worried and speculated rallied around him. Social media overflowed with encouragement from people across the country, many who'd never met him but felt connected. Ben said the hardest part was not contributing physically to the projects he loved. Erin admitted she still worried when he pushed his healing shoulder too hard. Slowly, Ben clawed his way back. The man who once doubted he could lift his daughters was soon scooping them up with ease. He returned to woodworking, handling tools with renewed gratitude. Stepping back onto the hometown set, he wasn't just the Ben fans remembered. He was stronger, shaped by adversity. Seeing him smile, laugh, and build alongside Erin felt like a victory for everyone rooting for him. It was a reminder that even the toughest among us can stumble, and there's no shame in leaning on loved ones to heal. Ben's health struggle wasn't splashed across tabloids, but for hometown fans, it was one of the most authentic, relatable chapters of his story. As Ben and Erin poured their hearts into hometown, bigger moments unfolded off camera, family milestones and memories tinged with bittersweet farewells. Beyond the renovations, their work weaves a tapestry of love, family, and time's passage that defines who they are. One project stood out, not just for the transformation, but for the life-changing events tied to it. A home renovation for Ben's brother, Jesse, and his wife, Lauren. It wasn't just another job, it was a gift of love. Jesse and Lauren had moved to Laurel, and Ben and Erin jumped at the chance to revamp their home. The project became extra special when both couples shared big news. Jesse and Lauren were expecting their first child, while Ben and Erin were awaiting their second, making their kids cousins born weeks apart. The episode, called Family Values, highlighted their tight-knit family and the joy of raising kids in a close community. The renovation blended Ben's craftsmanship and Erin's flair, creating a home that mirrored Jesse and Lauren's spirit, from a vintage-inspired kitchen to a snug nursery. Every detail told a story of family and new beginnings. Years later, in 2025, that home faced a new chapter. Jesse and Lauren decided to sell, seeking a larger property with space for a garden and their kids to roam. Letting go of a house filled with memories was tough for Ben and Erin. It wasn't just a project, it held some of their happiest times. Erin shared the moment on social media, writing, "So many family dinners and playdates. They're ready for country life with land for a garden and their kids to explore the woods. I can't bear to see this one empty. Praying a new family loves it as much as we did. Link in my stories." Her words captured the bittersweet ache of parting with a place so personal. Ben echoed her, saying, "That green cottage saw so much life in 4 years. Christmases, family gatherings, new babies, last-minute meals. I've had almost as many coffees in their kitchen with Mom as in my own." For Ben, the house was a treasure chest of memories. In hometown, every renovation is more than paint or floor plans. It's about home, family, and moments that shape a life. This project for Jesse was a shining example of how Ben and Erin's love for family and community infuses their work. But if you thought that was their peak, think again. Just when it seemed they might ease up, Ben and Erin pulled off a move that left everyone stunned. If you thought renovating one house was big, picture an entire town handed to Ben, Erin, and their skilled crew. Sebring, Florida, was the canvas, a community battered by hurricanes and economic hardship. Homes stood abandoned, businesses shuttered, but its heart still pulsed, craving revival. Ben's leadership shone here. This wasn't a few scattered projects. It was a full-scale transformation. Over a dozen major renovations were planned, touching every part of Sebring's life: homes, historic buildings, small businesses, and public spaces. The workload was immense, but challenges like this light a fire in Ben. His knack for dreaming big, rallying teams, and turning lofty goals into reality made him the ideal leader. The Napiers didn't go it alone. They teamed up with a stellar crew of HGTV and Food Network stars, bringing energy and expertise that amplified the excitement. HGTV noted, "The hometown takeover team will revamp homes for local leaders to spark change and foster community gatherings, including a historic home for a kindergarten teacher and a cozy gazebo in Sebring's main park." Ben and Erin will also lend their skills to revive businesses like a soda shop, theater, and Cuban cafe. The task was daunting. Rebuilding a town isn't just about aesthetics. It's about earning trust from people who've endured storms, both literal and figurative. Ben got that. Every nail driven, every wall raised, carried purpose. It wasn't just construction, it was about heart, resilience, and ensuring Sebring didn't just survive, but thrived. Hometown Takeover. Season 3 wasn't just a show, it was a mission, a reminder that behind every crumbling building are people dreaming of better days. Erin said, "We're pouring everything we've learned into keeping this town's heart alive." Those who watched agreed. Sebring got more than a makeover, it got a second shot. Ben rose to the challenge with quiet strength, showing why he's not just the brawn, but a visionary of hometown. His grit, patience, and creativity turned dreams into reality, making it feel bigger than TV fame. For Ben and Erin, it's never been about spotlight or glory. It's about building communities, one brick at a time. Sebring proved that with hard work, heart, and southern tenacity, even the most broken places can bloom again. You might think that's the end, but hold on. Ben and Erin just locked in something so massive it shows hometown is far from done shaking things up. These days, HGTV and hometown are practically synonymous. What started as a charming little show in tiny Laurel, Mississippi, has grown into a TV empire, with Ben and Erin Napier at its core. Season 9 is captivating millions, and here's the kicker. HGTV has ordered 32 new episodes and secured the couple with a multi-year deal through 2027. That's not just faith in them. It's HGTV saying, "You're not going anywhere." What makes Hometown a phenomenon while other shows fade? It's more than pretty designs. It's Ben and Erin. Their chemistry is undeniable, unscripted, and feels like home. You can't help but smile at Ben towering over Erin, passing tools or tossing a playful quip, or at Erin's eyes lighting up when Ben flashes his goofy grin. Their commitment to restoring not just houses, but a community shines through. Unlike shows chasing glitzy cities, Hometown stays rooted in Laurel, resonating with viewers who see their own struggling hometowns in its story. It's not about big budgets or trendy aesthetics. It's about heart, pouring love into every beam and porch swing. The nostalgia hits hard too. A standout moment was renovating their alma mater, where Erin worked with childhood teachers, her emotions raw during the reveal as Ben beamed with pride. Another gem was Season 7's renovation of the old president's house at Jones College, where Ben and Erin met, a project steeped in their own history. Hometown taps into something deeper than design. It's about roots, finding beauty in the overlooked, and believing small places matter. When Erin picks colors tied to a homeowner's memories or Ben crafts a table from reclaimed barn wood, they're not just building spaces. They're weaving stories, preserving legacies, and making home a sacred force. That's why, 9 seasons in, Hometown still sparkles, growing stronger. Ben and Erin stay true. No Hollywood shine, just paint-splattered jeans, sawdust, and love for their town, family, and each other. Fans don't just watch, they root for neighbors. With Season 9 shining and 32 episodes in the works, Hometown's future is radiant. Ben and Erin's deal ensures Laurel's heart keeps beating on HGTV. The journey's just beginning, with more stories, homes, and lives to touch. The best is yet to come. So, after all the rumors, worries, and wild guesses, one question lingers. What really happened to Ben Napier? Now you know. Through scandals he didn't earn, pain he battled, and dreams he built, Ben stayed true to his core, the steady, creative heartbeat of Hometown. No matter the challenge, he showed up for his family, town, and millions of fans who found solace in his spirit. He never craved the spotlight, just wanted to make things better, one brick at a time. His quiet strength outshone any headline. And that's what makes him unforgettable. Now we want to hear from you. If you faced what Ben did, how would you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. For more stories like this, tap the next video on your screen.